Guys, go to rozstrategies.com, would you? Of course, Michael Rozbruch's been a member of this program for so long, and he now runs the Michael Rozbruch's Tax and Business Solutions Academy. He's the guy who founded Tax Resolution Services, now called Tax Audit Defense.
He looked good, too.
He's the guy who did the show Taxman. And, of course, he's a nationally recognized entrepreneur and an award-winning trainer, and he helps CEAs and attorneys and enrolled agents build a very profitable practice. But the best part for us is that we bug him this time of year, every year, to talk about some of the tax scams and what's going on. And here we are again, Michael, where nothing seems to have changed from 2013, 2014. There's still the Dirty Dozen list of tax scams every single year. Let's talk about them today.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on is everyone is getting these scam phone calls with people posing as IRS agents. I got a call the other day where someone who was impersonating an IRS revenue officer told the person right on the phone that if they didn't give them their credit card number right then and there, that their California DMV license would be revoked on the spot.
Okay, let me get this straight. Now, one thing you taught me a long time ago, probably 10 years ago when you first got on the program, that the IRS never sends emails. I'm assuming, do they make phone calls, collection phone calls like that, and take credit card information over the phone? I'm assuming they don't.
Never. They never demand payment right on the spot, and they certainly don't ask for a bank account or a credit card to take payment. So that, and you know what's really weird is the caller IDs say Internal Revenue Service. So if you're looking at your digital readout on your phone, it says Internal Revenue Service. So they've hijacked whatever links or phone links that the IRS uses for their own use.
Shouldn't that be easy to go back and go, hey, follow this phone line? It's you guys right here in this apartment.
Well, yeah, no, but I think those phone lines are they're
bouncing off every.
Yeah, they're bouncing off of every satellite around.
Yeah.
There comes some out somewhere. Who knows? It's interesting. Every year, Michael, they come up with the Dirty Dozen. The IRS comes up with the Dirty Dozen scams, and phone scams, as you said, top the list this year. If someone calls unexpectedly and they say from the IRS. The IRS, I'm assuming, does make some phone calls, but probably just not to do collections. Or does the IRS make phone calls at all?
Yeah, they do. They will call. They will also go to a taxpayer's residence and knock on the door. But usually, that is preceded by several notices, certified letters, other contacts. They don't just show up.
So you know that it's coming. Is bottom line. Michael, stand by there. When he comes back, Michael's going to talk to us about how to protect yourself and what the IRS will never do. Because if you know what they won't do, then you can check them off the list. In other words, I know they won't send me an email, so if I get an email from the IRS, I know it's a scam right now, right then and there. rozstrategies.com. I know I've got a lot of CPAs. I got a lot of attorneys that listen and watch the program. Go to rozstrategies.com, see how he can help you there. More Michael Rozbruch coming up. rozstrategies.com. Nationally recognized entrepreneur, and I want to talk a little bit about that because, Michael, before we go on with the Dirty Dozen, IRS's Dirty Dozen scams for the 2015 filing season. Let's talk a little bit about your success, because you were the founder and CEO of Tax Resolution Services, which is now called Tax Audit Defense. But that was a very successful company, and now you go around and you actually teach other attorneys and enrolled agents and CPAs sort of the secret to your success, correct?
Yeah, what I'm doing now is basically teaching grassroots guerrilla marketing, all the same strategies that got me successful when I started. And it's all direct response, lead generation, marketing. That works online and offline. And we have about 125 members in the academy right now who. The ones who are implementing are seeing tremendous results, and it's just a great feeling, showing other people how to bring in tax resolution clients to their practice.
Well, the other thing, too, though, is I think there's something to be said for the direct marketing business, because although Tax Resolution Services did a lot of radio and television advertising, that was later on. You guys didn't have the budget to do that in the very beginning, and I think that's a lesson to be learned here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was very successful in the first 6 years of business before we even went on radio or branched out nationally. And I did most of that advertising, with direct mail, online marketing, content marketing, and a sequential follow-up marketing. I mean, it works. A lot of people think direct mail is dead. It's far from dead. I mean, the largest internet company in the world, who does $60 billion in revenue, sends a direct mail piece for their paid search. Google sends direct mail pieces to businesses, asking them to go online and buy paid search and AdWords.
And this is in the mailbox, direct mail we're talking about?
This is in the mailbox,
No
absolutely.
kidding. Of course, you can go to rozstrategies.com. I know I have a lot, as I said before, I have a lot of attorneys that watch the program, and a lot of accountants and such that watch the program. And you can go online there to Michael's website, rozstrategies.com, to find out. All right, let's get back to the 2015 Dirty Dozen list of tax scams. We don't have time for all of them today, but there's a couple of them that stick out. The Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration has received a lot of reports of, what is it, about 300,000 contacts since October 2013 because of people trying to get ripped off or people thinking that people are trying to rip them off. What's the latest? Yeah. I mean, what are we really looking out for here, Michael?
I think it's a lot worse than that, because that's just what's been reported to the Treasury Inspector General. I mean, Sully, you witnessed this firsthand. Mm-hmm. When someone stole your Social Security number.
Michael helped me through it, as a matter of fact, and as the story goes, my accountant was calling to get a clarification on some stock sales because we had to carry something through to the next year when we were doing our 2010 tax return, and the nice lady on the line said, well, what are you calling for? Because you already put your tax return in. And
Mr. Sully, but you've got one of those easy names. You think that's the reason why they lobbed onto him instead of Russell Stallnight?
Yeah. Does the name matter, Michael, or are they just going for anybody?
I think the more common the name, I think the more prevalent or the more exposure you have. I mean, if someone did Rozbruch, there's only like 3.5 of us in the United States. So, I would come after them with a vengeance. Hopefully, I would have known right away. But you have a very common name. But ultimately, so you were able to get that refund, right?
Well, yes. But the interesting part of it was this, though, because when we were on the phone with them, it was at the last week in January. Back in 2011 regarding the 2010 tax return, and there's a reason that's a suspect or susceptible time, right, Michael? Because that's early in the tax filing season when they get a bunch of returns in. Isn't that part of the strategy with these scam artists?
Yeah, they file immediately as soon as tax season opens, which was this year was January 20th. And you know what? They don't even need a real W-2. They do a substitute W-2. It's on Form 4562. Now, hopefully your listeners aren't going to go to the computer and fill out a 4562 and get it in. But that's the form that these scam artists use. It's a substitute 4562, which they attach to the return when they file it.
Michael, there's a couple of things the IRS is never going to do. I know one of them is not going to be sending out an address. Will they ever call to demand immediate payment without first having mailed you a bill?
I don't see that. No way.
And they're never.
Can't. By law, they can't. I mean, the Taxpayer Bill of Rights that Clinton signed in 1998 gave a lot of teeth. They have to send at least 5 notices, the last 2 certified, for each year that you owe for. Now, they have to send it to the last known address. So if you moved around, you're not going to get the notice. Yeah. But they have to send the notice.
But at the same time, too, though, they're never going to require that you use a specific method of payment for your taxes. In other words, they can't say, "Hey, you need to use this prepaid debit card, and I need it right now." Because IRS takes checks, right?
Right. Yeah. No, they will not. The real IRS does not do that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is that there's been some reports here in the city of San Diego, and of course we emanate from San Diego, even though we're nationwide. Is that they have threatened to call local police and other law enforcement groups to have you arrested for not paying. That's that's a sure sign of a scam, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've done it up here too in Los Angeles and in all other areas of the country. I'm hearing it from all over the country that this is happening, and they're preying on people's fears. Everyone, the number one fear is darkness and spiders, and number 3 is the IRS. So
not in that order, by the way. The other thing too, though, Michael, before I let you get out of here, is let's face it. A lot of us have parents that are aging, and they are the targets for a lot of this because they are. I hate to say this, the most gullible. Yeah. My dad's 85 years old. My mom
eager
is
to have
75.
a conversation with someone. Just believe people because they're honest themselves. And geez.
I mean, I think it's a good idea that you let your parents know what exactly is going on. Wouldn't you agree, Michael?
Absolutely. It's a good idea to talk to your parents at least once a week and let them know that if anyone calls from the IRS, either hang up. I'd hang up the call.
Yeah,
I'd hang up the phone.
I mean, why not? I mean, honestly, what's the downside of hanging up? And they're either going to call back or you're going to call them back. Michael, thank you so much. RozStrategies.com. Michael Rozbruch, of course, the founder of Tax Resolution Services, now Tax Audit Defense, and Michael Rozbruch's Tax and Business Solutions Academy.